Hello and welcome everybody. So today I am talking to Sivu, who is a connector, a marketer, a lifestyle expert. I mean, he does so many different things. And the purpose of this chat today is for him to share with us what has been his biggest challenge and therefore what he had to tap into in order to develop that skill to overcome that challenge and how he can now help other people with what he's learned about himself.
Wow, that's quite a bit, Bridget. Well, hello to everyone. It's good to be here. It's good to be chatting to you, Bridge. Thank you for creating platforms like this where people, can have these serious discussions. But I also think that they're lighthearted in the context that these are things that bring us joy. They make us look at life differently. Yeah. So where do I start with your question? I guess my biggest challenge has been myself. Interestingly enough, a few months ago, a very good comedian friend of mine had made a post about how, in the last 14 years, he'd put all his energy into working on his craft, and he's really good at his craft. And it's only now during COVID, and at the time, I think it was like 9 weeks of COVID, in the 9 weeks that he realized that he hadn't put enough work into himself. It was always putting work out externally to try and make things, look a certain way. But himself, he's still young, he's still a baby, And I think that may have been my biggest challenge. There was a point, there've been many points in my life where I felt, I used to say I battled my demons. And I think really that's a metaphor to say I had to look at myself in the mirror and say to myself, who am I in the context of what I want? And that made it much easier for me to be able to go for the things that I wanted. So if I wanted to create something, which is something I find deep pleasure in, I think every human being has that one unique gift in that we're able to create. How that creation process works, that's really up to you. So, if I want to create something, I do it. I don't waste time. I don't think about, I say, hey man, you know what? I really would love to see how that would look now that I've got it in my mind. And I go and I start to put it down on pen first, and I draw it, and maybe I send it to somebody else and they do something with it. And we develop that way. So for me, every day though is a day for me, a moment to look at myself in the mirror and say, Sivu, what aren't you doing right here? Sivu, you're coughing consistently. Are you eating right? Are you taking in the right supplements? Are you exercising? And if I'm not, then I get into routines that help those things. Now, obviously, routines can be boring. Everybody knows that. But I think that by routine, it's not so much that I do the same thing over and over again. I find different ways to find comfort in doing the same thing over and over again. So if today I go for a run and it's 5 kilometers, tomorrow I'm going to do 5 kilometers, but it won't be the same run. That way I can see different things. I can be inspired by different things. I can feel hopeful, by the different roads and things that I take. And I think that's really been my journey.
When did you know that it's up to you? Because 99% of the population, I honestly believe, not that I know 99% of the population, but I believe the majority of people will blame everything external. It's very seldom they will actually. So was there a point in your life where something happened to make you realize that it's up to you if you want to make the change? You have to be the change to make the change.
I don't think there's any one point, Bridge. And I mean, sure, they can. I mean, depending on what kind of person you are, some people are suckers for pain. So they'll want to go as deep and dark as possible. They want to hit the rock bottom before they bounce back up, right? I think that every challenge that I've been faced with, whether it was losing my job or changing jobs or making the decisions, I don't like to look at losing my job as an option. It's either I decide I've had enough and guys, let me go, or I go. And I think that's the conversation one has with themselves. So I think every time I've been faced with a certain challenge, that particular moment for me became like a changing moment, or a changing time. And really, the reality is I can say that because I am here where I am today. right? If I didn't rise up to the challenges the challenges that I faced, then I don't believe I'd be here. I think I would constantly be making excuses for where I could be, or I could be wishing that I was somewhere else. I often say, people talk about, like to ask me, hey man, don't you miss this or that? And I think to myself, ridiculous. Why? When I was where I was at that particular time, I had the time of my life in the context of whatever that was. And right now, I might not be having a party, but believe me, everything that I exercise, every power that I exercise that's within me is me having the time of my life. And it only works if I am having the time of my life. It doesn't work otherwise. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate the processes that you have to do if you're not enjoying doing things the way you want to do them. So I think it's important.
You know where that comes out? Actually, that where it really comes out. So I was looking when you guys went away on the weekend to the farm. Mm-hmm. And you must correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going by the image.
Oh, sure.
And a friend of yours is created a beer. Am I right? They created a beer, and you were talking about this beer, and and obviously promoting it because you were saying how fantastic it was, but that's all connected to lifestyle. There you were, away, beautiful place, beautiful photos with friends, having a wonderful time, and there's a beautiful image. So for me, when I think about you in marketing, I think it's about embracing a beautiful lifestyle, but yet in relation to the realness of who you are. So it's not about necessarily being on the biggest ship and the biggest house, and it's not about the grandeur of it. It's about real life, but lifestyle. Am I right?
So it's an overused word, and sometimes I think it's overused because we've just been stuck in the space where we don't know how to explain it. But the word is experience. If there's definitely one thing I can tell you about me, I'm very pro-South African. So everything I wear is made in South Africa by a South African. And in most cases, it's somebody that I know. And I know them because I've taken the time to say, hey, man, listen, I really like that top, or I like that blazer, or I like those shoes. And you made them. Damn, dude, I honor you. Thank you,
So if you were going to give one bit of wisdom or advice, what would that be? What would you share?
I've got a quote, and I don't know who said the quote. I was much younger when I first came across it, but it went along the lines of, if you're gonna walk, walk. If you're going to run, but don't waddle. and I think for me it resonates in the context of, look, we can make excuses about why we didn't do things. You can make an excuse about why you didn't live life the way you wanted to, or why you felt cheated, in a poker game. At the end of the day, man, like, it's either you were in that game and you won it or lost it, and it's okay, or you were there because you were unsure what you were doing and you feel really crap now that you've lost everything. So yeah, man, if you're gonna do it, just commit to it and go ahead with it. Enjoy it, run it if you're gonna run it, walk it if you're gonna walk, but don't be neither here nor there.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bridget. Okay.